Hello and welcome to 7 Super Series. I'm Ben for the Bonehead podcast, and this is the semi-final one preview. Seven Super Series is our escalation league for the best way to play Blood Bowl Sevens. Sevens is a fast play variant with a smaller pitch, smaller teams, shorter halves, but bigger gameplay. We've got 5 teams facing off against each other across 10 weeks, then we'll take the top 4 teams and through a series of knockout playoff games, determine the 7 Super Series 3 champion. This is an escalation league, so no permanent injuries, and before each game a team plays, they will receive a single skill depending on their team tier. Every week we will have a preview video for the match that's coming up this weekend to feature the teams and the coaches. Now we are going into the playoffs right now. We've got our 4 remaining teams who are going to be battling out against each other, and this week we're going to be joined once again by the Khorne father. Ian Triplo is going to be here running our Khorne team, the Golden Skulls, and I'm going to be running out the EU again. So Elven Union, the Lothian Legion team, will be taking them on. Now, we've seen this matchup before. It is the classic Bash versus Dash setup. So it could be a shootout. It could be just plain murder. We're going to have a look at the final 4 teams, then look at the coaches, then look at the teams, and then, of course, the Viewer Championship. Okay, so we've completed the regular season now, and we've got our 4 teams that are going through to the finals. Now, we've got the Undercity Warpfires, the Golden Skulls, the Lothian Legion, and the Saber Tusks. So the Saber Tusks are the Ogre team, Undercity Warpfires are our Underworld team, and we've got the Lothian Legion, our Elven Union team, taking on the Golden Skulls, our Khorne team, this week. Next week's match will be between Underworld and Ogres, and the winners of these 2 games will go through and face off against each other in the final, and we will crown our 7 Super Series 3 Championship champion. Anyway, let's have a look at the teams. First up, we've got one of our favourite teams, I think, from this season so far, is the Golden Skulls. Now, the Golden Skulls, I think, are placed either top of the rankings or they're 1 or 2 basically. So these guys and the Underworld team are the 2 top teams in the series at the moment, and the Golden Skulls have done a great job. They are just an absolute tank of a team in Sevens. Now, every round until this one, every team has got an extra skill. We have now capped out, so these skill sets are not going to be changing as they go through the final. So these teams are as good as they are going to get all the way through the rest of this season. We've got 3 Bloodseekers, all of which have got block. We've got a Khorne Gore who's been upgraded with Leader on a double skill to get that integral team reroll, and one of the 4 Marauder linemen, so 8 players on this roster, has got guard there as well. So that guard basically allows one of the other Marauders to become strength 4, giving them basically a 4th Bloodseeker, or can get that all-important +1 assist to make sure that the Bloodseekers making those 4-die blocking blocks stay making 4-die blocking blocks, and against particularly vulnerable targets can go for a cheeky 6-die Frenzy block, which is pretty tasty. Now, the Golden Skulls are taking on Elven Union, so strength-wise, everybody on that roster is going to be strength 3, so each of these Bloodseekers is going to be able to potentially use that muscle. They've got that straight up advantage. That Marauder lineman with guard is probably going to be used, like I said, to just help protect that frenzy follow-up, because you can fall into frenzy traps really, really easily. And when you're going up against Elven Union, who've got a lot of block step, and in fact 1 blodge step as well, that sidestep can be used very well to bait into really bad frenzy blocks, assuming that the Bloodseekers don't just pow them down in the first place. This is going to be a really interesting one. Golden Skulls, they're kind of Their vulnerability is on agility, and that sidestep dodge combo can be really tough for Khorne. Old Khorne suffered this way, and the new Khorne roster suffers this way as well. Now, this Elven Union roster has got a few of those players that can be a bit of an antithesis to the Khorne team. If the Golden Skulls, piloted by the incredibly capable Triple Pow, this I feel like has become his Sevens team now. If the Golden Skulls can land some really strong hits, Elven Union will struggle. I think we're going to see some cagey and protective, really consistent play here. I think Trips is going to know he's got the strength advantage, and he's going to be able to use those frenzy blocks to position really well. But the Elven Union are not just going to sit there and take a hit. In fact, let's bring up their roster. With 2 Elven Blitzers, an Elven Thrower, an Elven Catcher, and 3 Line Elves, this roster's got a ton of speed and a ton of agility. So both those Elven Blitzers, block and sidestep, like I said, that's going to allow them to reposition where they want to when they are punched. That block is going to be really useful against the non-block players and the other roster. So those Marauder linemen, them taking a block against a block player here, especially one that's got block and sidestep, can lead to bad 2-die blocks. And when you are 2-die up against a target with block when you don't have block, that's a bad situation. So me as the Lothian Legion coach, I'm going to be having to do my best to try and bait those bad frenzy blocks. In 7, well, both these rosters have got 1 reroll, right? 1 bad block is all you're really going to get away with the entire half. So if I can kind of set up some of those bad blocks, those bad follow-up frenzy traps, it could end up with the Khorne team having a few shorter turns than expected. Now, we've got some skills on this team as well. One of our Elven Blitzers has got dodge, so he is now a blodge step piece at movement 7, edge 2+. That dodge is going to allow him basically to go wherever he wants to go, and that block and dodge combination is going to be really, hopefully, really effective at keeping him alive and on his feet. The Elven Thrower's got Leader, so we've got Leader on this roster versus Leader on the Khorne roster, so that's 1 reroll apiece per half, assuming these players can both survive. I have no doubt that Trips is going to take every opportunity to hit the Blitzers and the Elven Catcher, but I feel like that Thrower is going to be his #1 target for a jolly good blitzing, so I'm going to have to work pretty hard to protect that Leader. Plus, that passing 2+ is just a really effective way to get the ball to one of my many scoring threats. And the best of all the scoring threats on this roster is that Elven Catcher. Movement 8, edge 2+ is wonderful. Catch nerves of steel, Sneals the nerves of steel is a brilliant combination to get the ball and make a touchdown. But this dude's got dodge and block as well, so he is a movement 8 blodger with nerves of steel. This guy is a 2++ catch and a 2++ dodge away from scoring a touchdown basically on any turn. So I feel like we've got a lot of scoring threats here. Both those Elven Blitzers and that Elven Catcher, if I can get them into the red zone nice and early, if the thrower's got the ball, Trips is going to have a really tough time actually protecting from a really quick touchdown. Now, if I can score a quick touchdown, that gives me a little bit more of a chance to kind of play on defense. However, playing defense with this team up against Khorne is going to give Trips a good opportunity to kind of farm blocks against me. So I'm going to have to kind of pace myself a little bit. I like a quick score because I love playing defense. And it only really takes one turnover, one actual scoring threat to grab the ball and steal it to turn it into a bit of a rout. So that's what I tend to always play for. This is why I get accused, aptly and accurately, of playing every team like Skaven, is because I will play press on defense. I will pressure, because if I can break serve just once, kind of got it in the bag. That's kind of the Elven way, that's the Skaven way. Now, to help us with that, one of our linemen has got kick. Now, kick is a fantastic skill in 7s. This is going to give me the opportunity to drop that ball in the neutral zone if I want it, or pin them back if I want it, depending on who kicks, who receives, who scores first. That's going to give me the flexibility to either allow me to pressure the ball immediately in the backfield, or try and split the Khorne team and pressure them. Khorne is not a fast team. Their heavy hitters are movement 5. So they're not really going to be blitzing across the neutral zone, which is really effective for me. So pinning them back can give me that time. And with no sure hands and no edge 2+ and only 1 reroll, pinning the Khorne team in the back of their zone, it's going to take a couple of extra turns for them to score. So actually, there's an opportunity there, but if I can thin out the numbers, or if I need a quick 2-turner or something like that, then I can drop it really close and try and get the onside kick, which is the dream. Now, 8 players on the Khorne roster, 7 players on the Lothian Legion roster. I'm going to have to play keep away with my very souls in this matchup, whereas Trips has got the extra person there to put the boot in an opportunity. So look for these blitzers and this catcher to get fouled like you just couldn't believe. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I love both of these teams. The Elven Union team has not been as exciting or as an explosive an offense as we expected out of this match. Now, if you've watched the last game, you'll know that they've got some great potential. And I'm actually really excited to take this on because this, I feel, is a bit of a challenge. I think you would be hard-pressed not to favour the Golden Skulls here with that amount of strength and just bash potential with the way Trips plays them so consistently. If he can build that Bloodseeker fortress, it is going to be very hard to assail. But I like the challenge here. This is going to be, I think, probably the best matchup so far this season. I know that these two teams have already played. That doesn't matter anymore. They're different teams now. They've got more skills. And oh wow, the very first game of the season was Khorne versus Union, and Khorne won 1-0 actually. That's not going to be the case this time. There's going to be more than one touchdown in this. I just hope that it's for the elves. Anyway, this is the video where you get the guessing in of the scores. We got 3 rounds left to go. Let's have a look at the viewer championship. So every week we want you to guess the scores, and there is a total of 5 points up for grab. 3 if you get the outcome correct. It doesn't matter what the score is. If you think Khorne are going to win and Khorne win, you get 3 points. If you think it's going to be a draw and it's a draw, you get 3 points. Then you get a bonus point regardless of the outcome if you get each team's score correctly. So if you say it's going to be Khorne 3-2 and Khorne end up winning 3-1, you'll get 3 points for getting Khorne win right, 1 point for getting the 3 touchdowns right, and no points for the other one. So 4 points. So a maximum of 5 points to be scored. Now we've got 3 rounds remaining. We've got this one, we've got the other semi-final, and then we've got the grand final. So there's 15 points to play for. Let's have a quick look at our leaderboard. Okay, Trevor Turner in first place at 26 points. Adam Pike with 25 points. Third place, 23 points. Brad Barrett and Joe Mama. 22 points. Dean Wilson, Gecko 8, Panenka 76, Stevie 126. Fifth place at 21 points. Alex Geddes, Justin Kostelak, Mike G, Tom Wheatley. Sixth place, 20 points. Adam Wilcox, Andy Tucker, Austin Faulkner, Barron, Chris Stevenson, who's still on there twice. Lonnie Live, Mike V, and Ola Bayou, and a whole ton of others there. Now, with 15 points remaining, you can see that it's not far to the top, and at the end of the season, points will most definitely mean prizes. Now, we'll get the full Star Wars scroll at the end of the video as usual. Okay, so I think this is the first time this season I filmed the preview game without actually having already played the match. Trips and I are playing both the semi-finals this Tuesday night. So tomorrow as this video goes live, and they are both games I'm really excited to play. Both games have got teams that are geared up now. We've got them to a point where they're not, there's no such thing as an optimal build in Blood Bowl, but they've got powerful skills. These teams are ready for the playoffs. We've seen how they played throughout the season. They've all had good games. They've all had bad games. We've all seen how the skills and the positioning have comboed well and failed us completely. This is a full-on game of Blood Bowl. You've got 2 powerful teams, and I personally think 2 coaches whose play styles fit those teams. So really, it's over to you now, guys, to get your guesses in below. Do you think Triplo, with consistent skull-crushing ability with the Khorne team, can defeat me with my dash and sneaky git ability with the Lothian Legion? I don't know. And it's really exciting, and I cannot wait to get to the pitch to play Triplo with this one. This is going to be a brilliant game. I cannot wait. Anyway, get your guesses in below, guys. I'm going to wrap up the video now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.